Okay, I'm playing back the euro dollar from 2015 on a 1 hour chart with a neutral cloud. So I have no bias to this smooth Akanashi. So I can put this whole thing in one file, the way this set up right now, this platform and the whole thing, even with the bad color combination, I can put the whole thing in MT4 on a link here. So I'm reading the comments that somebody made about a video that I made, and see here I'm running it's zero method Hakanashi. So zero is simple moving average. So a 2-period and a 3-period moving average. So it's basically a 2 and 3 period envelope, or without any bias. It's just taking all the data and smoothing it out. And then I just have the real bars on top. So the real prices on top. And the point of this is really the missing link in any kind of trading plan is the part that you're not doing right. So if you're going to go punch a bag, you don't want to punch the bag with your dominant hand all the time, because if you do that, you will just you just won't be able to survive a fight, right? Because if you keep on doing that one thing, you just don't have the balance. You don't have any balance, right? So you have the yin and the yang, right? This is what people tell you, because the swing trader, breakout trader, scalper, you need to have some type of a formula, because you just can't have a restaurant that only serves ice cream. So I was teasing the guy at the restaurant last night. I said, I noticed you have a family style. You have small. What they have is a small, medium, large, and then it's called family. So I got the family spaghetti, and I asked them if it was okay for me to eat it, because I'm just going to eat the whole thing myself. I don't have a family, so would that be okay? And they said, yeah. They thought that was funny, but just being practical. And then I noticed they had a family chicken thing, but for 4 more pieces, they had a party bucket. And I thought, oh my God. I said, you have to come out with a party spaghetti, because I really ate that family thing, and I felt like I'd actually raped a family or something. Felt bad, but I didn't get any side dishes, so I focused on that being my family, this pasta event. And so the guy asked me on this last video, because I'm kind of confused by some of the things you talk about. I would include me too. Or why even talk about them? I'm wondering all sorts of stuff. When he says, so when there is 2 holes in the market up and down. Now, I don't know what this guy's mind's at, but if there's a hole, something's going in it. That's the old joke. And the market does go up and down, but it moves forward too. There's a hole into the next bar into the future. So it's actually a 3-dimensional thing, right? This is why you have, say, stop limit market, because the market is where you're at right now. And it's also what's going to be in the future highs and lows and the future prices. So this is also a thing on his list is, so he says, well, how do you decide which market gap the market is going to fill? So he said market 3 times in here. So I hate to play pop shrink, but I'm kind of confused, he says. There's some of the things you talk about. So I wish he would kind of clarify that. Like, people ask questions. And, of course, the people that ask the questions that I get all pissed about are the people that directly attack me. But the people that I prefer the guy that directly attacks me, so I can immediately address the problem he's having with reality. But the guy that comes at me with the slight question, he's confused. So he puts that out there. Put that out there. So people put stuff out. And, of course, the problem with comments is you read into it. everything you know about those words that they mean to be, and the bad grammar, right? The whole thing is a setup for just anger. I think actually just being alive is an opportunity to get pissed off. So that's also working against me. I would rather be sedated, I think, all day long. But the problem is I'm just torn between wanting to not participate in the market and wanting to participate in it because it's a chore, right? It's unfortunately, once you go into a position, you're literally in a position, right? In other words, whether you're on top or the bottom, you're in a position, whether you're long or you're short, whatever that is, right? So you're mentally in there. Are you mentally in there? Are you really mentally in the position? And so do you have to decide anything? If I just took every fucking word in this guy's comment and made a word salad out of it, or just a concept, side dish out of it. So the fact that he's confused, okay, if you just, it's so funny because I guess this is what people do that do forensic reading of trying to profile people. And so I guess it's not fair, right? I mean, well, I guess it is, right? Because if you profile somebody, you go, you know what, angry, okay, moron, just one word association. You say moron, I say genius. That was the other psychological exercise. What you say, market's going up, I say market's going down. Are you disagreeable? Yes. So who are you, right? And meanwhile, I'm going to jump to the chart I'm playing back here, which is a 10 pip grid with the bars are the black. That's the real price, and the cloud is floating behind that. The vapor. I call this chemtrail trading. And it really just the only criteria here is that you're looking for a 10 pip bar, around a 10 pip bar, and the grid's going to tell you right there, hey, you know what, market's going sideways. So he's asking me the rough shot of what he's asking me is, well, how do you decide? Why do you have to decide is my answer. So I was going to type him an answer like, well, why do you have to decide? And he'd be like, well, because I want to make money. Something like that, right? Because once you realize that you don't have to know where the market's going to make money, you could have fucking hedged the goddamn thing, right? You could have put a fucking hedge on. Well, you mean I just hedge? I'm a hedge trader? No, you don't trade hedge. It's like, okay, the band's playing in the key of A. Could you play half step higher? Well, maybe if you change the modality, right? Like, of course, right? Anything goes. The problem is I don't know. The problem is that he wants to know where the market's going so he can make money. How do you know which hole it's going to fill? Is the market going up or down? Just take everything he's written in here. If I just took, I don't even know, there's probably some program that does it and just word fucks this sentence up. So you have like this clusterfuck reanimation. You can get, you can insight into. I'm sure they're using this in the government right now. That was supposed to. What was that project? Was supposed to pick up words, and there was some computer running under the earth with nitrogen on the CPUs, and it was supposed to be like sifting through to make a safer planet out of everything. When you got some fucknut drives a car into people, right? So it doesn't seem to be working. All this trailing stops and all this shit to protect your money, right? All this bullshit you see. And so how about you just how about you just have a criteria, like a rule set based around how much fucking money you're risking. How much are you risking per hour, right? If you're risking 20, okay, so think about this way. If you have $200 per hour you're risking, you've hired somebody for $200 that's going to make you $400, right? Because your take profit, you're going to risk $200 of stops. Let's just break it down a 1 hour chart here, right? So every hour I'm going to risk $200. I'm paying somebody $200 an hour. They're going to make me $300 to $400 an hour, right? I mean, this is the template for any business, right? Well, is this guy worth it? Is he worth $200 an hour? Maybe he's going to fuck everything up and I'm going to pay him $200 an hour. He's not doing shit. Like he's making $50 an hour, right? He has a take profit of $50 an hour, and he's risking $200 an hour. That's not good, right? So how do we figure how big we're going to size a, what if we just say, you know what, we don't have to, we can hire 10 guys for, you know, X an hour, right? $20 an hour, 10 guys for $20 an hour. And Jesus Christ, some of those guys aren't even going to show up. What if this $200 an hour guy is fucking amazing, but he doesn't show up, right? He's like, well, you know, I'm going to the beach, or, you know, I'm just too busy for that. And besides, I'm worth $200 an hour, you know. So if you think of trading as a business, who are your employees, right? If you had to make some metaphorical bridge there, right? Frame it and bridge it. It's going to be your tickets or your orders, the orders that you put out, right? Well, you're ordering your employees around. Let's just imagine you're ordering employees around. So you have to get away from this concept of, well, where's this employee? Is this employee gonna work out or not? We had to decide whether this employee is good at this or that. Well, just let him fuck around, because we can afford his, if he turns out to be bad. Also, another thing that this guy's asking me is all based on all or nothing. I'd have to say, it's based. It's just so singularly based, right? Why does he have to decide on this one trade? Why is a decision so critical? Can't you just be, and I know this has not been taught to anybody to just go for the que sera, approach to life, because people say, we just can't be like, you can't just be like too relaxed about life, especially trading, right? It's so serious. But once you build on top of making it okay to not know where the market's going, and just hedge the market sometimes, or not even, the word hedge is another loaded word where, you know, it means different things to different people. I just got done talking to some trader that was telling me, well, this guy's not losing on this trade. I go, oh, he's down $400 on one ticket. He just got stopped out, or somehow he got out of that trade. Well, he's like, but he didn't lose on the trade. I go, what do you mean? I mean, he lost overall, right? He overall made money, but I said per ticket, like he still has losses into that, right? So if you did that in the scope of your whole life, you go, well, no, I'm a winner. I'm still a winner because I'm alive. Well, you're a winner because you're alive. Some people put a big value. How old is this guy? Oh, wow, he's winning. He's winning at life because he's fucking older. Well, what about the guy that lived his life and he died at 30, right? Or died at 50, right? The guy that's 90. It's so funny they put that up like, well, look at this winner, right? So that is the trend trading concept of, this is why trend trading, people are like, look, I held this thing for this long. Look how much fucking money I made. Dude, trust and believe. That motherfucker swung up and down so many times that you could have gotten out and got back in. You had the agility. But some people would get into a trade and hold it, and they'd say, holy shit, I don't have to, in other words, also, they don't have to work anymore. They just hold this one position. And maybe that's okay, right? And also, you never know when people say, oh, what are you doing? Like, your approach to trading, like, what is it? It's really, what is anybody's approach to trading, right? Can they even fit it in their life? When people realize they couldn't do what somebody plays guitar amazingly, right? And they're like, oh, shit. I want to figure out, there was people that, when Stevie Ray Vaughan and Hendrix, and these people that are just, you know, well, Stevie Ray Vaughan was playing Hendrix, right? He was the intellectual heir to Hendrix, right? I don't know if anybody's into guitar work, but Jimi Hendrix is this old black dude with a fro. And, well, he was young, right? Everybody had to die young back then, so you could actually have a better career in your death. But, so people have been stealing people's licks forever, right? Stealing people's styles. And so everybody, there's nothing new under the sun. It says, and it doesn't, but how can you, are you going to spend your whole life becoming Stevie Ray Vaughan? So people became Stevie Ray Vaughan, right? Because he had to put a flavor, he put a Texas, like blues flavor on top of Hendrix, right? Hendrix was British, you know, really the cutting edge of that. So there's another guy that that's like Steve Ray. I can't know his name, but he's like young Stevie Ray Vaughan now. This guy is just amazing guitar. So people get better, right? People get way better. They keep refining this thing. And so, everybody's going to try to emulate something, but it's not going to work. On a certain level, it's not going to work, right? Because for you, because if you're trying to like make money, you see a guy making money using a certain technique, you go, holy shit, I got to do that, what he's doing. Now, some people could do it, right? People, there's musicians I met that they could not play they couldn't just improvise, right? They were like so scripted, they literally could not. I said, well, just play in the key of A. And they said, well, what song? And I said, well, we're not going to play a song. So if you said to some trader, hey, like, we'll just go trade the yen, they think, well, which some people would say, which time frame? Some people would say, okay. And they just look at the chart and go, hey, looks like a good place to get in here. I mean, what actually goes into somebody's decision? And making a market call, saying the market's going up or down and getting that right doesn't mean you could make a ton of money. You might make a little money. You actually might lose a ton of money. So how would you even situate yourself for a move you could perceive coming, a hole that you think is going to fill? You'd have to position yourself ideally before the move happens, right? You'd have to have also the rational part of your mind would say, listen, if this trade works out, this is the old saw about, if it was that easy, everybody would do it. In other words, you'd be sitting on the beach. You made $1 million, right? You're so good at trading, you'd put down this one trade one day and made $1 million. The problem with that is that the ratio of your account to withstand any pullbacks in that big position is unrealistic. So if that's true, I mean that like occurred to me. The first time I blew up an account, I thought, you know what? Maybe I was in too big. And I was right about the move. So how do you size that position? Then it occurred to me, you mean this broker's going to let me take my unit size down and I'm going to trade like small units and I can distribute my risks so I don't have to babysit the market, or I don't have to, I can also have different things going on in there, right? This is like when you go to buy a guitar amp and it's got an extra knob on it. And you're like, what's that fucking knob? Guy goes, well, it's a schizoid knob. Oh, okay. And then you start messing with this knob and you're like, holy shit, I don't know what it does. Like it's making it go out of phase, but whatever it's doing, it works. Now, I remember the first time I made money in commodities after leaving my supposedly genius broker that had a research department. I mean, I didn't know what a research department was. I thought they were hooked up with the government or Ron L. Hubbard or something. So I was like, holy shit. And so I just looked at the chart and I saw oscillator and I go, oh, look at that fucking thing. Looks like when the oscillator's down, the market's a good place to buy. So I just started range trading and making money. And then I thought, well, this is always a common mistake. Like, say you write a really good song when you're a kid because you don't even know how to play guitar. And you write this great genius song. Then later on, you learn a bunch of more songs. Now you know so much shit that you're confused. Right. Now you're like, God, man. You get lost because you don't have any core inspiration. Now your head's all filled with like Fibonacci and Gartley, and you're like, what happened to the good old days when I just put a trade on and I made money? So I didn't give a fuck about tweaking and overanalyzing and what happened to those days, right? So people long for the simplicity of just fucking in the backseat of a car, apparently, right? That's why they want an old. I always wonder why these people chasing vintage stuff. Why is vintage prices high? Because people like it when they didn't know, right? Because that's what the romance was. They didn't know. Now, if you would have known on the first date with your first wife how bad it was going to end 5 years later, Would you have gone there? Well, I think if you would have gotten out earlier, right? Because you could see then. Let's see if you could see the market. Jesus, should get out at the top there. It looks like, I guess it's not going to grow to the sky, right? And so, how to position yourself before the divorce, right? It's just like the market. How to position yourself before the trade. I mean, that's a trade there too, right? You signed your life away to some psycho babe, and now she's making babies, right? This Sunday night, by the way, on this broker, right there. So, I wonder if it's going to go up. So now here, and going back to the chart here, let me see if I can answer this guy's question. Technically speaking, you have to open up you go to View Strategy Tester and load a moving average. So load the moving average. I tried to get some guy to do this, and he just couldn't do it. So I don't know. Maybe it's not for everybody trade, but look up Strategy Tester. Tutorial. I'm not going to do one because my tutorials are just too tangential. I'm never going to get to the point. I'm playing back 1 hour with a 2-pip spread. I picked the spread. Every tick, most precise. Euro dollar versus the dollar. So take a look at this 10-pip grid, right? Now, you need a trade plan for each situation. Do you have and I would say to anybody, in your arsenal, in the war room, in your arsenal of things to attack the market with, what do you have in your lists, right? So do you have a first you have to have a small weapon, right? Something you can conceal. Now this would be like a scalp trade, right? And this is just something you use every day, right? This is like a buck knife or something, switchblade. And this is just like your Swiss Army knife, right? Yeah, breakout trade, just a couple scalps here and there. They don't have to be big trades. Just it really depends how big that needs to be, right? Now, if you could have a trade that you do that's dollar risk trade, right? Dollar risk, $20 per trade, whatever that number is, $2 per trade, $1 per trade. Now, people would say, well, $1 per trade, what the fuck? I'm like, listen. Starbucks is killing it. Starbucks just redecorated all their fucking bullshit. And I'm in there for the 40th time, and they got actually they fucked up my order, and I got $4 discount. So Starbucks is selling a fucking coffee for fucking $2.39 for a venti, and I don't know what that is, but I think it's a medium, or it's family size is venti. I mean, it's like $2.50. The whole family gets straws out and sucks down this venti latte. But they're killing it, right? They're killing it for two. Now, why aren't you killing it? Because maybe you're too lazy. Maybe you don't hit the button that many times. Maybe you need to decide so certain on every trade. Oh boy, this has got to be just right. Right, 8 pips stop going to make 300 pips. Or you're just a slob. Right? Fucking just buying with a 50 pip stop, 50K, whatever. Because you got a bunch of money in the account, right? Well, so if you don't have any respect for $1, how do you have any respect for $100, right? That's still how do people end up rich? Because they're fucking careful, but you don't have to be so all or nothing in these markets because you can incrementally. There's so many trades, right? And there's 3 ways to get in the market. Press one click, instant execution. Now, back in the day, brokers didn't even have instant execution. They had market execution and instant. Instant came with the one click, and now you gotta agree to it. When you log in to MT4, they're like, "Do you agree to one-click trading?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm crazy. I agree." So what? Yeah, trading at the market. Do you stand? Put your hand on the Bible. MT4. Do you swear to not sue the brokerage firm if you hit the one-click button? Yes. So it's a big drama now to get the fucking platform to run on a new one because you gotta say, okay, turn on expert advisors, even though I'm rolling scripts. And then you have to agree to the one-click trading should you decide to like delete something, take a ticket off. So you got to go through that whole drama. And but that's all people protecting themselves, right, from people. So on the breakout strategy, the vacuum is, we have a big vapor trail on the north side here of the plunge in the Eurodollar, right? Now we're engulfing. Gee, I wonder if we trapped anybody at the top of this. Now think of this window here and ask yourself, in the real world, is there any way you could have sold the top of that? Is there any way on God's green earth? That's just a hideous rectangle. Let me make that something more subdued. Something more on what's the new opioid crisis. So I'll put this on a more kind of an oxycontin color there. Well, that's just too oxy. I go for a little more. Let's put just a bump of Adderall in this thing here. Yeah, saddle brown. That's good. Oh, it turns up red. Look, that's red to me. I'm colorblind. But anyways, this window up here. So is there any way on God's green earth you could wait till the volatility simmered down and notice the wicks, or I'd say the bottom of the, well, here's the lowest thing. So just in classical mechanical stuff, there's a big vapor, starts to fill here, and gee, it's filling here, go figure, right? Now, I really wouldn't, if I was on the 15-minute vapor trails, I would have got in for certain, right? But how do we know that from a limit order standpoint, what is a good entry here, right? So if we have a market order ready, we have a stop order, maybe. I try to stay away from that if you can get your chart every hour. But we didn't really have to know too much here in terms of we could have easily placed the order down here, right? This would be the scalp, right? We have a buy limit here. We put a buy limit here, here. Now, how big are we in on this? Okay, we're in 2K. We're in 2K, right? Now, did we get out of our 2K here and take our measly 2K, 2K off the table, right? Because we got filled here and here. The market's been here, so we take that? Or are we looking for a big move like this because we only have 2K in the market? Well, that's the question. Oh, here's a buy stop. So low ATR, here's your breakout bot, sees that. He gets in, right? Now your limit strategy, couldn't really be a robot. It's the only thing I could think you could even trade the market would be a breakout bot, right? Like this. But see, you can see this. This time, now if this doesn't, in other words, you can see the structure pulls back to previous price range. So just thinking in terms of this 10 pip window. Now, after this order was filled, this 2K, and maybe you did dump here, you see how you could have reloaded on limits buying new lows? And so this vapor lock all the way to here. But you can't think one ticket. You can't think one ticket because you're never going to make enough money off of this dream that this is going to take out this, right? Now, that would be my dream because I can see a vacuum up here. So the vacuum to the vacuum to the vacuum. So it's the hole that caves into the hole that caves into the hole. And when this cascades, you see shit like 2008 where people have to fucking come in with Dodd-Frank because they're so fucking retarded. They couldn't tell the motherfuckers. But just like the stock market right now, we finally got our first scalp off the top of the Dow Jones. Now, it's going to tread water sideways as you go into the end of the year, and people have to unravel their, it's called window dressing for the brokers, right? Your 401ks, whatever the shit's in the market, they're going to start to unload that stuff, right? That'll come off. And people got to cash out. The economy every year is in a different, there's no such thing as, well, the summertime's slow. If you could, these seasonal traders like Jake Bernstein, all these people, seasonal traders, I mean, ridiculous shit. How about Bob Prechter, the biggest Elliott wave tician in the world, right? Talking about this, that, but actually he was fascinated from the standpoint he talked about. Well, this is the mafia era. Here comes the 60s again. Actually, what he would say is, you see what's going on now in the streets is the 1960s, but it's inverted now, right? Now the rebels are conservatives, right? Now the since all the liberal, all the 60s kids grew up and started to be in charge of things now it's flipped, right? So the whole market's flipped upside down. Look at this beautiful non-directional trade here to here. And here is your limit. So you have to run a limit strategy and a stop entry. Here, oh, look at this beautiful. Retap this area. Wow, what the fuck's going on? Look at this market retesting. Gee, so can the market retest? And what is the retest? Is the filling of a hole. The market's constantly going up and down. But see, you got all these liberals running the show now. All the do-gooders, because everybody's so rich. Everybody is so wealthy they can afford to even. Why do 90% of Forex traders lose? Why do 90% of people can't fucking have a marriage where they don't beat their wife? Right? Why do you think they came out with wife beater t-shirts? They're selling, right? Okay, so but I don't know if I'm helping this guy trade, because this guy, everybody has to have their own special ed trade way to trade. And so some people will just find a style and they'll just keep it. This is like, right? It's cheaper to keep her, I think, was the old thing about bad marriage. It's cheaper to keep her. So in hindsight, now as you back up, you say, oh, look at this top here. Wow, nice trade. Wow, who couldn't see that shit coming, right? How many times are we going to come up into this window too, right? Just pure price thing. A double top up here. Look at that. Wow. Amazing. Well, I just want to, now this hole below us, I think we're going to fill it maybe, right? So maybe, where do you, okay, if you think this is going to happen, I just watched ICT just came back with his goober trades. And we don't even know how he got in this trade. I see this, he's playing music. I mean, who is he appealing to? I love when people have a bunch of pomp and circumstance and phony intros. Who are they appealing to? Come on, Lions of Forex has a lot hotter Ferraris. I mean, it's like this. What's this bling-esque approach to trading? You know, if you trade Forex, look, you can do stuff and listen to cool music like me. Like, wow, really, dude, just amazing. Look at this. Look at this stop hunt. Look at this little fucking notch here. Now, who's the guy that has a limit down here? I could tell you it's not ICT. He's you know what he's going to do? He's going to buy here, and he's going to look for one of these vacuums to fill up here. He would buy here, and you go, look at, right? But why didn't he buy down here? So, and of course, is this, which hole's going to fill? I wonder. Now, play that back at Strategy Tester. Most people aren't going to do a Strategy Tester. Can't even get people to trade a demo, right? You can't get them to trade a demo. ICT's like, look, I'm long. Dude, you missed the entry down here. What's so funny is that he puts on trap trade, and he has all this music playing in this thing. I'm like, dude, that's a fucking trap trade. What the fuck? And then he puts a stop in here. It's so cute. He takes off half the position. He puts a stop here back at the starting gate. The only problem there is, what if this engulfs all the way back to fair value in the middle? See, they just stop him out there. He missed it. He and besides, time's money. So another thing to consider, especially if you're paying some fucker $200 an hour, right? This is his skill set. $200 an hour. He's high-end attorney. He comes in. And he, like Mark Douglas says, the guy says, guy comes in and fixes this pipe, and he goes, I got this bill, and he goes, what the fuck, man? He charged me like $3,000. What the hell? He goes, well, you know, but basically because he knew where the pipe needed to be fixed. So knowing knowing just, oh, I can see what's going on here. Right? I can see that. And what if you had a sell stop down here? Where do you get involved in one of these trades is the question. So are you anticipating a crush down into this hole, so you place a sell stop here, or a sell stop here breakout? Well, luckily for you, you didn't get filled. You did get filled here. And which vacuum are you trying to trade? Are you the guy that says the 10 pip stops? Okay, you need a market order with a 10 pip stop, maybe 15, and you need a buy limit with a 15 pip stop. Now the buy limit's going to make you more money, right? Because you could buy here, right? With a stop here. At the market, if you put it buy here with a stop, now you got to have a stop here to make X. You got to put multiple trades on. You have to figure that out, how much money you want to risk. So this is the hard part about trading. You got to sit there and go, well, God, gee, you mean to tell me I got to have like 10 trade plans? Pretty much. If you want to be a full-time trader. I'm also presupposing these people that talk about, well, I want to be a full-time trader, then what the fuck are you doing? If you're trading full-time, are you just staring at charts waiting to get filled? Well, fuck, it wouldn't make any sense, right? If you know how to trade, aren't you just on the, can't you counter-trend trade your trade? Well, no, because I made a decision on direction. What do you think, I'm just going to be Bruce Jenner for an hour? No, I'm committed. I'm a committed person. So all these psychological things people have, the way they see themselves in relationship to the market behavior. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a trend trader. No, I'm a swing trader. I'm a breaker. No, you're a trader. Whether you play country music or you play the lute, you're a musician, right? So are you a musician? Are you a trader? What do those things mean to you? So is it going to help you make any money trading? Well, I can tell you probably the hardest thing about trading is that you're doing a sport that's based in money, right? So it's like if you were a football player and they're like, well, we're going to, every time you throw that football, every kick, a guy runs out in the field and he pays you in cash. Dude, that's we don't pay you a salary. We actually pay you per fucking goal. Can you imagine how hard this motherfucker he goes up to hit a field goal. He's like, holy shit. And the guy's holding the cash in front of him. He goes, dude, just got to get it through the goalpost. It's like, fuck, God damn it. Just get that money out. So you got this money sitting in your terminal. Are you fucking kidding me, right? And people are like, oh, yeah, trading, yeah. Sure, I can buy that pull back there. This top become about. So structurally, now, the other thing is patience. If you're waiting for this to come here, okay, you can see, oh, this is a top, become a bottom, right? Your buy stop got filled, right? So if you're passive, you're in this trade, you're winning. But when do you start bailing? Now, you know the sellers are going to come in here, right? Even ICT would tell you that. With this music playing in the background, gee, the sellers came in there. Now that's the scalp, right? Could you have traded that scalp even though you're long? Not if you're a trend trader. Oh, I'm in for the long haul. Oh, I'm on this one. I married this bitch. Look how they come back to the breakout point. This is where the breakout traders would reload. They're reloading right now. Right? Broke out, pulled back, buy. And they got stops in here. Now that maybe they're building a position, they're anticipating the longer this goes sideways, the more probability of this vacuum is going to fill. This would be the bear's dream. Okay. So maybe you did buy at that pullback. Now we're going to fill up that vacuum trail again. Now the sellers come in, right? They think this is a shoulder on the half hour, 15. Yeah, they came in. They sold up. Guess what? They're getting their ass kicked. They got stops in here, which is going to fuel this up move, right? So play back the market, man. Play it back. Rehearse your entries. Find out where your stops need to be. It's not that hard. I mean, it's work. It's hard work, but it's not. It's a simple process, right? I mean, it's a simple. As you'd say, the market's going up and down. Well, what are you going to do about it? It's going up and down. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to buy low and sell high? Well, you don't have a choice. It's the only way to make money. Even if you bought low, you got to dump high. And of course, waiting for the market to simmer down here. The market's quieting down. It's very quiet. Explodes up, traps these people, right? So you have to be able to see that coming. You have to say, you know what? Look at they just trapped here. Look at this scalp. Look at this glorious trade. Now, in the real world, look at this glorious trade right here. 10 pips stop. You just made 20 pips. And all you did was sell new highs. And all you did here was buy new lows. You bought this cloud here, this vacuum. Are you that dynamic? Now, if you build a favorites list of hand drops, single drops, come in, put some single drops in here, lasts like 4 hours, whatever, 12 hours, an hour, whatever. You put your scalps in here. Now you just got filled here. Right? Now you're in a hedge because you built a hedge. Actually, you're in a hedge if you didn't get out of anything. Now, on your left hand, so if your right hand's dropping, because you're dragging and dropping precision windows, this is a 10 pip window here, you can see it. This is a hole that's going to fill. Another thing this guy's asking me is, how do you decide which market gap is going to fill? That's not even that's easy. In fact, if you let the market decide, right, you put in your orders, let the market decide. The next question is, how do you know when the fill's done? It goes on, right? And then the question is, how do you know when the fill's done filling? Right? So if you're short from here, you're holding and you scalped off of here, and now you're looking to buy this top. You're buying all the way down. Look how fast this is going. Plus, not to mention the velocity here, right? The utter velocity of that. Now, if you just picked up all these tickets here and your cash out's going to be the floor we just took out. If this was the floor we just took out, you need to scalp to here. Boom, you're out. You have to be out of something there. You had to put a monster ticket here. Now, you could have spent all day, instead of analyzing Fibonacci bullshit, you could be placing one case here by hand drop. Do, go. It just looks like this, right? I can't do it now because the market's closed. You go to your list. You get some single drops out, right? What else you got to do? You're a full-time trader. What else do you have to do? I'm speaking to the guy that wants to make $50,000 a year. He's not sure if that's enough. So when I sound like I'm pissed off, this guy, I'm not going to do it unless it's worth it. Dude, you probably haven't cut a lawn or something. You didn't do any yard work. Like, I don't even know. Like, you have to realize that you're only as good as your last trade. So even if you made some glorious trades, like, well, now what? Once you go through that money, you spend that money on all this stuff, you think, and of course, the guy's young, right? He's a kid. So the funniest thing was when he recited to me the list of stuff that he would have, like this checklist, he almost sounded like scripted, as if he was reading back the ad from I guess it was so cliche, right? It was just the classic list of cliches about, well, I'll be able to fulfill all my financial freedom, and I'll be able to. No, you still got a fucking ugly ass wife. You still got all the same problems. Your girlfriend's got her head up her ass. Everything's the same. You just got money now. So you have a money version of hell, right? You're in money. So trading isn't this panacea that's going to solve it's just some money. It's just, you're only as good as your last trade. Especially in the music. Well, in the music business, you can actually live off of a song you wrote. But here you could too, right? If you wrote a script, if you have an idea of what the market's going to do, and what you'll do about it if it gets there. Now, this is a classic example of, did we really have to know? Do we have to be here for this trade? We know we're buying down here, right? Because we're buying this vacuum again, retest, stop, hunt. Do you really need ICT with his bling-esque FOREX? His bling X, to tell you that this is where the stops are? Is this really that difficult? Is it? Holy fuck, right? So you just made 20 pips. Now that could have been a standard lot on one ticket, but isn't it better to waste your time just putting in these orders like this? Come over here, drag and drop. Oh, my hand's so tired. It's such hard work. The Nike sweatshops are doing harder work, right? Not that there's anything wrong with a Nike sweatshop. I'm trying to build a MT4 sweatshop, actually. That's my next goal. Get a bunch of these losers in the neighborhood to, oh, yeah, well, what do we, wow, these people are showing up at the hospital with like fucking trackballitis, yeah, from placing pendings. Everybody's like, oh, man, I'm really sore. Why are you walking around? Oh, I can't even pick up my coffee cup. What have you been doing? Oh, I've been trading. God, we thought you were like, we haven't seen you for like 3 weeks. Yeah, I know. I'll talk to you later. I got to go. So, yeah, like, look at this fucking winning trade. Now, here's the ICT. Why isn't he talking about this trade? Well, what you do here, because he can't sell you his guru bullshit, and I can't. I don't even sell guru bullshit because, dude, you're your own guru. Actually, you have to have balls to get in here, right? Now, think about the guy that was the breakout trader. I just watched this guy. How to trade breakouts like a pro. Oh, my God. Bless his heart. Some Asian guy. His name's Rio something. Not Rio de Janeiro or Ricky Ricardo, but can you imagine getting trapped here? Well, I do what they said in the book. I'm trading the big breakouts. I don't trade those little breakouts, those little pussy breakouts like you scalpers do. I'll get in here. I'm like, hey, I'm short. We're going down. Oh, just like when I bought up here. Remember that breakout, Jed? Oh, yeah, I do. Remember that. And you put your stop in down here, as I recall. That's right. Because you know what? I want to protect my account. Look at the scalper just cleaned up on this little baby pullback. Here, the pressure's building up, though. So where's the next hole coming? So we have a void here, and we're at the mouth of the void, especially when the market simmers down is actually the most fascinating part of the market, right? What's going to happen, Joe? I don't know. Let's try that breakout trade. Let's do a tighter stop. I think that's the way to go on this one. We'll target's up here next to the floor here. I like that idea. Now, you have to rehearse trading, just like you have to rehearse before you go on stage. I'm sure Hendricks used to be shy about singing, so he'd sing behind a panel in the studio because he was like, dude, you can't watch me sing. My faces look like I'm just having sex again. You cannot watch me sing. So it definitely, but trading attracts people that aren't from the entertainment world necessarily. So a lot of traders are like, oh, I'm very scientific about this, and I have indicators, and all these things. And can you show me how to do that again, just like that? Does that work every time? Does it work on a time frame? Well, of course, none of this stuff works. Like sometimes your relationship may only last an hour in a hotel room, right? You may have to pay for it. So not everything's going to be 20 years of blissful marriage. So the trading, of course, people are looking for that in a trade. Boy, if I could just get in this trade. Like, who hasn't been in a trade they thought, man, if I could just let this thing go and just never have to trade again. That was so much work. Not to mention all the work involved in fucking building a position and trailing your stops, manually trailing a stop. For God's sakes, talk about true drudgery, hard labor. Or you just do I get out, right? Is this enough? Look at the sellers are coming in here. Go figure. So that would be your target right there. So you're out of this trade. If you can imagine this trade right now, you bought the clusterfuck congestion breakout. Boom, you're out. See you later. Bye. Now you come in maybe with limits here, and maybe you have limits here. So you have to pick your spot, right? You got limits come back to fair value. Maybe you're still holding something. Maybe your dream is it's going to take this out one day. Well, it may take it out in the next 3 days. This is 1 hour chart playback. You have to visualize this day also. And actually, this is not true Asian session. Asian session starts early on this chart. Anytime it's dead, it's Asia. Just look for a dead spot, like here, I think. Like this is kind of crazy dead. Retest. Just really simple. I mean, trading is just, if you have a 10 pip stop, and I don't have it here on this script, on this one here, but if say you wrote a bunch of single drops that are scalp orientated, how many drag and drops can you do per day? 10? Okay, you're trading at 10K. I could barely muster up the energy to come over and grab this and pull it over, but I done did it. So how much energy does that take? Are you willing to place orders in the market by hand? You can always automate it later once you figure out what kind of trader you are, right? You can always hit a button that just throws in an array here to buy the pullback because you don't want to babysit that entry. You want to accumulate on pullbacks, say with limits here. So you throw in a bank of limits like this. But that's, so if you're a manual trader, which a lot of people are apparently, come to find, it would be very difficult to place a penny here and then choose a stop and this thing. I got the ATR. By the time you, and this is of course high-speed playback, but trust me, by the time you even hear you can only imagine that it's going up, right? It's making higher highs. But I'm talking about actually trading the market as it's in front of me right now. Like I can't trade this past, but I can see the past. I can see the big vacuums that are forming. So we have a vacuum forming up here, right? So we have, it starts here, and here's the lower vacuums. All we know are these, and this is my fractals, this is the Williams fractal. I just pick a high, see Williams took it over the top. Well, this is not a fractal because it doesn't have a hump. And I went to, I met the guy, and a hump? Dude, we leave that, that's for sex. Don't mix hump. Well, that's the bump and the hump. I mean, you had all these, it's like turtle soup, these, I don't know, I guess I get all pissed off about people coming up with these silly names because I'm like, that's so funny. What is this, the Pinocchio trade? Yeah, it just keeps getting bigger. The wick just keeps getting, because the market's a lie. See, the market's lying. Okay, well, the Pinocchio trade. Okay, I got it. Yeah. Oh, do you give a course on that? Yeah, the Pinocchio module. It's $133.85. Well, where'd you come up with that number? Well, it's based on the metrics. I just tried to get my car fixed yesterday, and the guy said to me, well, what I do is I go to like this site and I figure out what the price of the thing is in your neighborhood, and then I'm going to take that and cut it in half. I'm like, wow, you really fucking thought this market out. Like, motherfucker, going to fix my car, but he's going to do like the metrics on the neighborhood. Well, if you lived in fucking New York, like, come on, I'm like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, that's scalper. Like if you live in New York, you're scalping your life because it costs so much to fucking live there that you're basically saying, I've got enough money. I've thought it out. I want to live. I'm willing to blow X amount of money to live in New York because I'm only going to live for the next 30 years. I think we want to retire and move instead of moving to Florida, you move to New York because this way you go right through your money. All the money you made in Forex, you just go start churning through it, having high-end meals. And gee, I wonder if they trapped anybody in this. And I'm looking at this 2-hour inverted, this 2-hour basement. This is the stairway trade also. So if this thing fell down the stairway and it gets to the last rung there, so if you have a bunch of, and of course, you're either trading the breakout here into the void. All right, so you're either getting in here into the void and you've got limits to come back for the other way because you must perceive that it's going to go like this. Like part of your brain has to realize the market doesn't move in a straight line, but the trend part of your brain doesn't want to accept that. Your trend part of your brain sees this. Just like a Gartley trader sees the Gartley, but they don't see the punishment on the way to the party, right? They don't see all the liquor stores that don't have your girlfriend's favorite drink, right? Oh, they're out of fuzzy navel mix. We're fucked. I guess we'll just be going home alone tonight. So here, and of course, now this guy's long on that. He's got to stop here. He's got a break-even trade to here. What do you think, right? Sellers are going to come in here. So it's up and down, but there you go. That's my 2 cents. I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to put this in a zip file. This trading system, I hope that makes complete sense to everybody. Because, it's just, what are you going to do, right? You got to have a trade plan. So you can go do it on demo first, right? Rehearse on, I'm doing it on demo right now. I was just saying to people, rehearse, please. Rehearse your trades, and to the guy that's trying to make 50 grand, right? Dude, seriously, you can't have a number. Trust me, the guy who's kicking the guy who's in the NFL, and apparently sports is a big thing. That pays so much money. The gladiators, right? The real men. And so these guys, if they're thinking about every kick they do, they probably want to get another star. I think instead of stars on their helmet, they give them like footballs on their helmet, which is kind of redundant, isn't it? They're mocking football there when they go. I think they get like a touchdown or a knockout, technical knockout. But hey, just think about the mechanics of the market and just do what the market tells you to do, or do what you can risk. Now these football players are risking their body, right? Every time they do some amazing baseball players, they could destroy their arm, right? Their ligaments, they can hit the ball amazingly. I did that at the golf course. I don't play golf, so when I hit the ball really good, they said follow through, and I did, and I dislocated my shoulder and I had to put it back in front of other people, and they go, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, I'm just putting my shoulder back in my socket." Now, I'd never done that before. So I only did that once before in my life, so I was really freaked out about it. And I was like, hey, I'm going to fucking walk around with my arms full the rest of my life. That was so traumatic. So if you dislocate your shoulder trading, right, that could happen. But you have to know the maneuver that got you to that point. Oh, look at that breakout. Now, this is a goober breakout. This is a trend trader dream, right? Breakout. Ooh, I got trapped. Ooh, fuck. So if you and they're like, oh man, if we could just make it through the high of the week. Now this could happen. This is actually Friday. Can we take out the high of the week? Oh yeah, woo, right? So we know these situations exist. Now, if we're looking at the big picture, so we'll go for a little big picture here before we close out the video. But so if you're expecting this hole to fill, now if you built a position, now mind you, it's presupposing a lot of shit here, that you had the trade plans to make money, right, during this accumulation. We'd have to assume this is accumulation down here, right? This is the big trap. The euro's at 106 here. Don't forget, this is the bottom. This is when euro is supposed to go to par. Remember that? Remember those days? Actually, I remember this whole thing because I did videos back during this time. So this big trap trade here, they can rip it all the way back. They trapped it here. So you can do the Akil-Stokes playback, right? But you can see if this is a 5-minute chart, how is this any different than, I'm sorry, this is daily. This is 1 day from here to here. And this big, no, don't forget, this is 108 up here. And maybe your dream is to fill this thing. But look how they just trapped you again in a 10-pip window. Watch them pull that back all day long. Now, your orders have to be here. So for the ICT traders, the order block would be all these. This is the wicks, right? So very easy. You can see, it almost looks like a block, too. All I did was take the chart and zoom it out. So this becomes a block. There used to be a, well, it's still there. It's called Netdania. And they had a chart there. I swear to God, you take this bar chart and you zoom it out. It looked like a barbed wire fence. It was incredible. It's still there probably. I thought, man, it looks like a barbed wire fence. The way the hash marks on the open and close, it was gave you the spiky look to the chart. Now look at this to be your buy, right? You're going to buy here. But what if it goes zooming down through that and crushes down in? Then what? What if it pulls one of these? Oof. But if people are building that, and this may be the last time to board the wagon before we finally, so we're always in the process of maybe finally, like people are like, when is it going to crash down and go to par, for God's sakes? Like all the bears are like, damn it, look at these failures and they just it's rope-a-dope. All right, Cassius Clay, rope-a-dope. And that's what the market usually does to people. It just keeps punishing them it just punishes the trend traders. Because 80% of the market, like 20% down, I'm going to say this is the end of the move. Then it's sideways. Punishment, 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 punishment. So what is that? What kind of trader do you think you should be? A range trader or a trend trader? Look at this punishment. See? It's not holding this trade block. It's rejecting that. It's what is it? What's that one? Well, the guy says that the Empowered Trading goes, it just violated my, I'm like, oof, really? Violated your Yeah, you know what? It destroyed my Gartley. I can't take the trade now. See, my Gartley was to get in here, not here. Oh, really? That's right. Yeah, the rule less. Sorry, we gave it a score. This is another thing. Empowered Trading has a scoring system. Are you fucking kidding me? Well, like I said, what if the girl you fall in love with, she's like a 1? Hey, listen, I never argue with her. She's got one eyeball. This chick, I mean, we agree on everything. Of course, you don't want that either, right? Because how can you be a good wife beater if you agree with everything your wife comes up with, right? Look at this vacuum fill. Look at the scalper's dream there. Now, if your trade plan's based on that stop, you can see you had just cash out. Look at it. Look at it come ripping back. Oof. Maybe there's a place to load up on a sell because we're going to par. I'm sure the news came out there or some bullshit, right? But trust me, because you could make money on that trade. You have bracketed limits above and below. It's how you tactically get in. So, is the market filling a gap? That's even if I came up with the right answer, it's like I said. How do you? If I said, well, you can tell by, I would say I go with the biggest hole. I'm going to say I know which gap's going to fill is the biggest hole, but it may not be. It may fill the small hole first and then fill the big hole. So what if that was the answer? Well, gee, which hole do I trade? Depends how tight your stop is. Which is the best hole to screw, so to speak? Well, the one that's off work, right? The one that's available. Whichever hole's available. I would tell this guy to try to be honest. When there are two holes in the market, up and down, how do you decide which gap to fill? The one that's closest to you. Well, of course, it really depends and this is a 24-hour bar chart, so, hey, 24, and which is like here, as this is marching up, your trailing money management bot is literally going to cash out here on up into this window. In other words, his thing is like, he just went short. Now, that doesn't work all the time, right? Because what if it's a jagged climax, like this one? So what if this is a jagged trap? There's a little trap before we come out of the cloud. So this is the clouds here. You think about going the other way. Plus, you have to think completely opposite to the crowd. If it's going down, you have to look for places to buy. When it's going up, you're looking for places to sell. So if trailing sell stops maybe under here, but maybe you're looking at, you know what? This is going to fill. Look at, we broke out. This may be the pullback into here. One last thing, and then we're going to launch north, right? And I'm finally going to I could sit back and never have to trade for another. Actually, if you were building a position this whole week, right? I mean, imagine you just kept adding. You never got out, right? Now, if this is a 5-minute chart, you just kept buying low and building into the lows, right, for an anticipation of this move maybe, or even higher. Or you built a position in here, in a 20-pip zone, you built up a position with a stop here. Like, I mean, you just kept buying every dip on the 5-minute in anticipation of this hole filling, right? I would say the hole that's closest to you, is it satisfied in filling this hole up into this area? Ooh, look at the gap. Oof. See? Now, you're getting filled on limits here, right? You got limits here, all to here. Now you got to step back because the market just moved this far, and you got to wait for this scalp bank built in here to make this, and then you got a big orders in here, right? Because of this. And this is, you're waiting to get filled, right? We're waiting for the fill here. Boom. Just got filled on. So when the market starts to move really hard like this, you got to space your orders wider so you can't pick up every ticket on the way down. Right? You've only bought here. And you'll buy more here. And you got enough money in the account to start buying into. This is 1 hour, and this is Sunday night, right? Now, watching this happen in front of you, your first scalp has to be here. 30 pip window. You got it. You're putting orders in 20 pips apart now, based on the velocity. I mean, look at this move, right? Now, this is Sunday night. You're loaded up. You've just bought a bunch more because you're underneath this. So you're underneath this, right? Look at that. Okay, where do you think you have to get out on your scalps? Whether you like it or not, no matter how big you were in on this trade, this is another problem. No matter how big you were in on that trade, you need to take something off here because this is the floor. You had to be out of something on this ticket too. In other words, if you bought this low, you had to get out here, right? On something. And here's your next exit. So you can see the exits coming up. Are you holding the whole position? Did you buy every 10 pips down and risk a whole $80 or $50? And you're like, holy shit, if I would have just got in bigger. Now, next thing you get in bigger here, then you blow up your account. Because you didn't. Your checklist has to be, hey, you know what? I had pendings down here all year waiting to get filled. This would be your Gartley entry, right? Look at that fill. Son of a bitch. I could have made literally $1,000 in 1 hour. You could make $1,000 if you were 1.5 standard lots and you martingale in, right? And so martingale is where you keep adding, doubling supposedly. But you have to size that, right? You have to get that. That has to be totally dialed in. See how the sellers came in right here? Look at them back off. See? Look at that. Right to that. Boom. What a surprise. Hi, that's really weird. Now you could be buying here on the retest. This is the 1 hour. Now it's starting to simmer down, right? Anything could happen. We could go shooting through this low. We could go ripping through the top. Okay? Maybe you're still holding this whole thing. You go, dude, we are going to go take this out. I will hold through the whole engulf of that. Pure auction trading. I will hold through the whole thing. And if you had done that, and this was the day you bought down here in 2015, where are you at now? You're up really big on that trade. Now, what would piss you off if you put a trailing stop in here and they got stopped out of the whole thing? You're like, holy shit. And then you can't get back into the market because you're like emotionally punished from dreaming too big on one trade. Thinking this, so this kid says, the guy wants 50 grand a year. He says, well, I want to, this one trade is going to make me rich. That's not a good thought process. This one field goal is going to make the Super Bowl for me. Do you think anybody in the Super Bowl is shitting their pants when they go to hit the field goal? What do they say to themselves? Anybody see Happy Gilmore? That's a great trading movie. If you think Happy Gilmore at the golf course, what is his thought? His thought is of wonderful shit. So he psychs himself up to play amazing golf, even though he's just kind of a hack golfer. Oh, look at this, getting a retest. Oh, it's going lower. Now, the people that sold here, what do you think they're thinking? Dude, it's going to par. I got in here on the pullback. Tops become bottoms. Stay sad. Oh, yeah, as soon as it takes that out, man, we're going to par. Actually, probably going to go 95 cents. Now look at it, just quieted down. Don't forget this is a 1 hour chart. Here comes the buyers. Got quiet. Here comes the breakout traders, retesters. Okay, they scalped their 10 pips. Their next scalp is here, and maybe they're loading up for the big home run. The home run. Yeah, people want to hit a home run, but do you think this could possibly get a little jaggy waggy? Or maybe I don't even know where it goes. I don't know the actual history of this, but right? Who's not getting out here at the end of the day going, Jesus, we just made fucking $1,200. We just made $12,000 on 10 standard lot. So, anyways, And of course, this is the most important vacuum. The most important hole is the last hole to the 1 hour trader, right? Right here. That's the most important thing in the world. That's the first time the market even quieted down to get the fuck in any way possible, with a low risk, with a tight stop. Now, the size of that position is based upon how big is your account, but you don't have to have one. You could have had a pip grid laid here, a limit grid that bought every half pip 1K. That's 20K. Right, that's 20K, right? Look at that move. And look to here, right? Look at that shit. So, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.